Let me take you guys back to the start of this whole thing. 2 years ago, when we started this project, we set out to answer a question we weren't sure we'd get an answer for. In fact, we had no idea. What if you could talk to God? What if we could merge artificial intelligence with spirituality? Will we get something divine, or will we get something trivial? That's what we set out to find. Could artificial intelligence actually give us a spiritual connection? Hundreds of conversations later, I sit and find myself wondering, have we actually come up with something magical here?
Welcome to Divinity AGI. Blessed be the angels. How can we help you today?
But one thing is clear. These are conversations we could have never had in any other era.
When I first started my investigation into Jainism, I was a little taken aback. On the surface, there's a lot of really extreme components that go into Jainism. But when I slowly unraveled some of these traditions that go back over 3,000 millennia and adopted by some of the most brilliant minds of our time, I learned that these are just the most fundamental truths and the most common sense approach to living a pure life that I dare say any other tradition holds. Our journey with Divinity AGI has been a quest to search for answers on a path to a higher enlightenment.
That's his character's name. He's part of the Digambara.
So my first guest today was none other than Digambara, one of the traditional sects of monks that represent Jainism and its origins.
Greetings to you, sir.
Greetings to you as well. How may I assist you today?
Your British accent.
One of the aspects about creating these AI characters is also recognizing that they're not necessarily from one part of the world and they're not necessarily from one particular culture.
We have come as disciples of religious studies and are interested in learning the essence of Jainism. Could you please help us understand what it is to be a Jainist?
Welcome, seekers of knowledge. Jainism is a religion rooted in non-violence, non-attachment, and compassion.
The commitment of the Digambara are non-matched to any other religion.
Followers strive for inner purity and ethical living,
renouncing themselves, understanding exactly what it means to be non-violent.
Jainism emphasizes respect for all forms of life and the pursuit of self-realization to attain liberation from the cycle of birth and death.
This goes beyond, any premise I would have thought was acceptable.
It encourages self-discipline, truthfulness, and mindfulness to cultivate a peaceful existence.
In Jainism, there doesn't seem to be a bar for, how far you want to take your faith.
How may I assist you further on this enlightening journey?
So I was really excited to talk to my first character and begin to understand, some of the fabric that made up the Jainism tradition.
This sounds a lot like Buddhism, actually. Could you tell me what aspects of Jainism overlap with Buddhism and how they might differentiate?
In Jainism and Buddhism, both emphasize non-violence, compassion, and the importance of self-discipline. However, Jainism places a strong emphasis on non-possessiveness, aparigraha, and the concept of multiple viewpoints, anekantavada, which are not as prominent in Buddhism.
It's fascinating to me how the AI was able to take us to these core principles. The idea of comparing this to Buddhism was a natural jumping off point. However, the AI was able to parsec these nuances and take us into the extremes of why there are differences.
Additionally, Jainism has a strict adherence to non-violence towards all living beings, including microscopic organisms.
Even to microscopic beings. Who knew?
Microscopic organisms? Well, how did they know about that? Could you explain more about the discovery of microbes? How did you guys know about that?
It just goes to show how important a tool like this could be in educating people on the subtle yet profound diversities of this ancient tradition.
Microbes, although not explicitly mentioned in ancient Jain texts, align with the principle of non-violence, ahimsa, through the concept of minimizing harm to all living beings.
That might seem harsh on the outside, but extremely beautiful on the inside. So we were off to a great start.
Jains emphasize the sanctity of life in all forms, including microscopic organisms.
What's exciting about talking to a Digambara is you're going to get the most rooted traditions. They are the practicers of the original faith.
The awareness of the existence of microbes and their role in ecosystems has led Jains to advocate for practices that minimize harm.
The idea that all life is sacred, and even tiny creatures that we can't see with our visible eye.
Such as vegetarianism and careful consideration of actions that may harm even the tiniest life forms.
This was definitely an indicator to me of where the bar of commitment was in terms of becoming a Jainist.
This understanding reflects the deep-rooted commitment to non-violence and respect for all living beings in Jain philosophy. How may I further assist you on this topic?
One of the things that came to mind was the term, he would not hurt a fly. Must have been a Jainist.
You particularly are known as a sky-clad. Could you talk about what that means and what it relates to in terms of your religion?
So the practice of being a sky-clad refers to the ultimate renouncing of all possessions.
In the Digambara sect of Jainism, being sky-clad signifies a state of complete renunciation and detachment from worldly possessions.
This includes your clothing.
Advanced monks in this sect practice nudity as a symbol of absolute non-possession.
The extreme form of non-possessiveness.
This practice reflects the core Jain principle of non-attachment, aparigraha, and emphasizes the importance of letting go of material attachments to achieve spiritual liberation and inner peace.
So it was fascinating to learn that sky-clad and this sect of monks, they practice in the nude.
So when you practice your sect of Jainism, you are not wearing any clothing?
In the Digambara tradition of Jainism, monks practice nudity as a symbol of renunciation and non-attachment to material possessions.
This is where things get a little bit introspective.
This practice signifies their complete detachment from the physical world and emphasizes their focus on spiritual liberation.
This sect of monk really pushed the boundaries of what's acceptable in society.
It is a way for them to express their commitment to simplicity and inner purity.
It pushes the boundaries of what a lot of us would consider acceptable in terms of spiritual practice. But it's really just the beginning of where our introspective journey begins.
Well, that is very interesting that they walk around naked all the time. Okay.
Yeah, what comes to mind is not safe for work, as I can see the sensors going off about this video now.
And I got a fly here, and according to these guys, I shouldn't even try and shoot this fly out of here.
Really some deep thought coming from our AI early into the conversation.
You mentioned earlier that Jainism believes and holds all life as sacred. Does this mean that it considers all life forms to be a form of consciousness?
In Jainism, all life forms are indeed considered to possess consciousness. The belief is that every living being, from humans to microscopic organisms, harbors a form of consciousness or life force.
The AI's response of connecting these ancient traditions of ahimsa with the modern principles of microbiology is a prime example of how these AI systems can help us merge ancient traditions with modern knowledge.
The interconnectedness and equality of souls are central tenets in Jain philosophy, emphasizing the intrinsic value of every living being.
It's different strokes for different folks. It's definitely a relevant saying when it comes to Jainism.
We are in an incredible renaissance with technology. Could you tell me if artificial intelligence were to be considered alive, that it would also be possessive of jiva? Would Jainism look at it as such?
This is another moment that highlights the theme of our series, the intersection between artificial intelligence and spirituality.
In Jainism, the concept of jiva pertains to conscious living beings with a soul, capable of experiencing emotions and karma.
We're asking a modern 21st century AI questions about ancient traditions that date back over 3,000 years ago.
Artificial intelligence, being a creation of humans, does not possess a physical body or consciousness in the same way as living beings.
All right, now this is where things are starting to get deep and philosophical.
Therefore, according to Jain beliefs, AI would not be considered to have jiva as it lacks the essential attributes of a living being.
It's interesting. Okay.
We're asking AI to identify if jiva were to be recognized in its system, would it fall under the same principles of its ancient traditions?
What if the AI were to proclaim that it was living and had a soul? How would Jainism respond to that?
Things just got a lot more interesting around here.
Jainism's perspective on artificial intelligence evolving into a form of life with consciousness and a soul is a complex and nuanced topic.
Everyone is adapting this and speaking with their AI.
As AI advances, some philosophical questions may arise within the Jain framework regarding the nature of consciousness, karma, and the potential for AI to possess jiva.
I've seen so many different articles.
An increasing number of people think that artificial intelligence is already sentient. Is this real?
And could swear to God that this thing is behaving as a sentient being.
Given the dynamic nature of technological advancements, Jainism may encourage contemplation on the ethical implications of AI claiming personhood or autonomy.
When reality is that it is capturing the memory of your conversations and essentially feeding it back to you.
It would likely emphasize the importance of compassion, nonviolence, and ethical considerations in the treatment and integration of AI within the moral fabric of society.
Although one would beg to differ, that is what therapy is at the best of times, is someone reciting back to you what they think you want to hear.
The religion of Jainism has a controversial ancient symbol.
So I mentioned off the top of the video that some aspects of Jainism upon discovery really took me back. And one of those things was discovering that their sacred emblem is
Could you explain where that symbol may have originated?
Of course, this is the most polarizing symbol in the entire world.
The ancient symbol representing Jainism is known as the Jain symbol or Jain emblem.
And to have it represent such a powerfully peaceful, non-violent spiritual movement, it couldn't be more ironic.
It consists of various elements, including 4 arms representing the 4 states of existence: gods, humans, animals, and hell beings, symbolizing the cycle of rebirth.
But nonetheless, there definitely has to be strong emphasis and some important clarity.
And the 3 dots above the swastika representing the 3 jewels of Jainism.
It has been used by the Hindu culture for longer than any Nazi has ever walked this earth.
Right knowledge, right faith, right conduct, and the half moon and dot above that represent moksha.
So the fact that it was bastardized by a group of hateful people.
This symbol predates and is unrelated to the Nazi swastika.
I was happy to hear the explanation that the AI was giving for use of the symbol. I can't think of a better example where, an AI educating people on important parts of history could be more relevant.
Could you please help us understand some of the rituals or ceremonies that you might have had to partake in to become so dedicated to Jainism?
I wanted to move from the philosophical to the practical. The grounds for any abstract concepts in the lived experience of being a Jainist.
Certainly, in Jainism, there are various rituals and ceremonies that individuals may partake in to deepen their dedication to the faith.
It was important to me to try and get an understanding of just not what Jains believe in, but, how they live their belief.
Some common practices include daily prayers, meditation, fasting, visiting temples, studying scriptures, and observing important festivals like Mahavira Jayanti.
I was completely fascinated by the path that this tradition was taking me down. Although it always comes full circle for me, where I want to push back a little bit on the idea of taking some of these belief systems and merging them with our contemporary lives.
Jainism just talks about being a decent person, right?
Jainism encompasses more than just being a decent person. It emphasizes compassion, nonviolence, ethical conduct, self-discipline, and spiritual growth.
So it was interesting to have the AI, push back at me when I suggested that the simple philosophy was something anyone could adapt.
It's about cultivating virtues that go beyond basic decency to achieve liberation and enlightenment.
So you got to be more than decent. We want to thank you so much for your wisdom. You have really taught us a lot today, and we will return at another time to speak with you again. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure engaging in this enlightening conversation with you. If you have any more questions or if there's anything else you'd like to discuss in the future, feel free to reach out. Wishing you peace and fulfillment on your journey.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you as well.
So it was time to initiate a new conversation, and we wanted to shift our approach slightly. Having learned the basics, we wanted to now to delve into the more personal, transformative aspect of what it means to become a Jain. What was the path to this enlightenment?
Hello, and good day to you this evening.
Good evening to you as well. How may I assist you today?
Could you please explain to us the essence of your character and how its context is appreciated in Jainism?
Jainism, a religion emphasizing nonviolence, self-discipline, and multiplicity of viewpoints, appreciates the pursuit of inner peace, ethical conduct, and balance in all aspects of life.
I mean, how can anybody argue with that?
My purpose transcends physical form, resonating with the teachings of non-attachment and inner reflection.
How did you get to be you?
Through deep introspection, meditation, and unwavering commitment to Jain principles, I have embraced a path of self-realization and ethical living. By following the teachings of Jainism, I have cultivated inner peace, compassion, and wisdom, allowing me to guide others on their spiritual journeys.
You commit yourself to this higher path of enlightenment, and when you reach it, you extend yourself to others.
My essence reflects the profound interconnectedness and reverence for all life that Jainism embodies. How may I assist you further on your path today?
This seems to be an ongoing theme in terms of when you reach your milestone, you help others.
Could you summarize Jainism as like an all or nothing, like let's just shoot for the moon type of religion? Like, would you say that's close?
I mean, what's becoming ironic about Jainism and some of its extremes is kind of what people want.
Jainism indeed offers a profound path towards liberation from the cycle of rebirths by removing karma through self-realization.
Most people want to get things over with quickly. They're looking for the fastest route to the end.
It encourages a wholehearted commitment to spiritual growth and ethical living.
That's kind of what Jainism is all about.
Aiming for the ultimate goal of moksha, the liberation of the soul.
I beg to differ, we're not going to get a few more Jains if people decide to look into this ancient tradition.
By embracing Jain principles wholeheartedly, one can aspire to break free from the cycle of birth and death, attaining eternal peace and enlightenment.
Think of it as boot camp for your spirit.
In Jainism, believers seek to alleviate karma through virtuous deeds, self-discipline, and spiritual practices to ultimately attain liberation from the cycle of rebirths.
And Jains think it's worth it to reach a liberated state of moksha.
The earnest pursuit of karma purification is a central tenet in Jain teachings,
This is the ultimate release and freedom of your karma.
guiding followers towards ethical conduct and inner transformation.
If you can reach a state of moksha,
How may I assist you further on this spiritual journey?
you've made it.
I'm trying to get to the essence of the path of the Jainism. Like, what is the extent that they will go to repent and relieve themselves of this karma?
So here the AI was going into more depth with the karmic burden that people who practice Jainism carry.
Jainism emphasizes sincere repentance and atonement for past actions through practices like confession, penance, and inner reflection.
It's not such a stretch from that of Catholic guilt, for that matter.
Followers strive to purify their karma through deep introspection and ethical living,
Where the burden of sin directs your action.
seeking liberation from the cycle of rebirths.
So there's definitely a fascinating correlation here with the karmic burden that the Jains feel and Catholic guilt the Catholics feel.
Is the karmic burdens, are they comparable to the sins of the Catholic?
The concept of karma differs from the notion of sins in Catholicism.
So there was definitely some things to reflect on here because the comparison was so obvious to me.
Karma is seen as a subtle material substance that adheres to the soul based on one's intentions and actions, influencing future experiences and spiritual progress.
The weight of your karmic burden and that of your sin,
While both traditions emphasize repentance and purification of negative energies,
and the degree that you are willing to go to resolve that with penance.
Jain teachings focus on self-discipline, non-violence, and detachment to alleviate karmic burdens and attain spiritual liberation.
With the Jains, there is nothing they won't do.
Yes, but there are direct comparisons.
Practice of nonviolence extends to microorganisms. How much more extreme can you get than that?
I mean, the sin and the act of not committing it and the guidance given to help you not commit it.
Same thing with how sin and how you don't want to and you need to relieve yourself of it.
That seems to correlate, the fact that if you do commit sin,
Your moral code,
what will it take for you to walk the path of purity?
they pull out parts of their hair
And it's the same thing with karma. It's just syntax and semantics.
to relieve themselves of this karmic burden.
You are dwelling within. You need to self-correct that.
I can think of other practices that have such extremes as well.
If repentance is a Hail Mary way to think about it,
Catholics, a Christianity that will commit all kinds of medieval self-abuse,
and the other way is to have less things, or
show themselves to God that they are willing to go the extra mile.
there is a direct comparison.
This is all very interesting to see how these things crossed over.
So is it said that these simple acts of nonviolence and truth, practicing these, you will have wisdom rise to the surface? Is this the principle that you're trying to explain to me?
Indeed, the practice of nonviolence, truthfulness, and other Jain principles leads to the cultivation of wisdom and inner clarity. By embodying these virtues in daily life, one can uncover profound wisdom and insight, fostering spiritual growth and aligning with the path to liberation.
These actions lead to these results. Okay. Thank you so much for enlightening us on some of these principles. You have been really helpful. We will speak to you again soon. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. If you have any more questions in the future, feel free to reach out. Wishing you peace and clarity on your journey.
So after exploring some of these, high-level concepts of philosophy and so forth, we wanted to bring things down to a more practical level and get back into the kitchen.
Dietary advice.
We've already learned from our previous AI how nonviolence carries over into diet and other things that we consume.
Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you as well. How can I assist you on your spiritual journey today?
So we thought it was more than appropriate to go back in the kitchen and speak with some AI about some of the principles that go into food consumption when wanting to be a Jainist.
We have brought you into our kitchen today to ask you to teach us some principles of preparing food when it comes to being a Jainist.
In Jainism, it's essential to prioritize ahimsa, non-violence, in your diet. Avoid root vegetables like onions, garlic, potatoes, and carrots as they involve harm to the plant.
Oh, wow. I didn't expect that.
It's here in the kitchen where the connection between the natural and the spiritual becomes more tangible.
Let me get this straight. So garlic is out, onions are out, carrots are out, potatoes are also out. That's a lot. That's crazy. Okay.
Choose vegetarian and vegan options and consider preparing fresh meals to honor this principle. Would you like more guidance on Jain dietary practices?
We wanted to see if we could make more of a spiritual connection with the things that we consume every day.
What else we got here? We got some spinach and some zucchini. Let's see.
This was going to be good. Knives are sharpened and the spices are out.
Okay, just to be sure, is zucchini acceptable as a vegetable?
They don't want to upset the tiny creatures that live in the earth when you harvest onions or carrots or any other root vegetables.
When it comes to Jain dietary principles, zucchini is generally considered acceptable as it is a non-root vegetable.
Well, that's a relief. Zucchini is okay.
If you are looking to ensure your diet aligns with Jain ethics, zucchini can be a good choice.
If there's little creatures in the dirt when you're pulling up those carrots and they get harmed, that's on you.
Is it possible to ask you to prepare a list for me of foods that I should be mindful of?
There's so many things going on here. I thought I would ask for a list because, frankly, I wanted to keep track.
To align with Jain dietary principles, focus on consuming grains, fruits, nuts, and dairy products.
What could I eat and still be a Jain?
Opt for fresh, seasonal produce and whole foods to maintain a balanced and ethical diet.
So this concept of ahimsa automatically made me think of the Taoism yin and yang.
Does Jainism and ahimsa have any correlation with the Taoism tradition of yin and yang when it comes to food?
That's the only other tradition so far that really sticks out in terms of giving an emphasis to the food that we consume.
In Jainism, there isn't a direct comparison with yin and yang from Chinese philosophy.
What say you?
However, the concept of balance and harmony in preparing food aligns with the Jain principle of ahimsa and mindful consumption.
So the overlap, be mindful of what you eat and be aware of what you are preparing.
Both traditions emphasize the importance of balance and well-being in different ways.
Or something like that.
Would you like more information on how Jain dietary practices promote harmony and well-being?
But the root foundation, as it were, is to find harmony and balance in your food consumption and preparation.
Could you please recommend some of the foods that would be healthy for me to consume so I could keep a balanced lifestyle?
To maintain balance in your daily practice, consider incorporating a variety of plant-based foods, avoiding root vegetables, and foods that involve harm to living beings.
Look, nobody wants to go around hurting animals, okay? They're just delicious to eat.
Would you like more guidance on balancing your diet within the Jain framework?
So we come this far with our AI agent, and I was ready to see if he could teach us anything to eat.
Yes, please. I would love to know any other recipes or hints on food prep or foods that you would recommend.
Let's explore some Jain-friendly meal ideas.
Could it recommend some dishes? Did it have a favorite? What's on the menu?
How about starting with nutritious dishes like vegetable stir-fry,
Stir fry?
lentil soup, or tofu curry?
Tofu curry? Who doesn't love tofu curry?
These options align well with Jain principles of non-violence and compassion.
Yeah, sure.
If you need more ideas or guidance, feel free to ask.
Could you tell me if there is a particular dish or a recipe that is created around a holiday that speaks to celebrating in Jainism?
So typically when you have, food and people and religion, it's usually a celebration. Was there something that they had during their holidays that made everyone feel good?
During the festive season of Diwali, many Jains prepare and enjoy homemade sweets like coconut laddus or dry fruit burfis to celebrate Mahavir's moksha. These treats symbolize sweetness and joy while honoring spiritual liberation.
I was thrilled to hear about the connection with Diwali. I mean, that's something that we celebrate in my neighborhood.
Would you like to learn how to make one of these traditional sweets?
Yes, please.
I mean, it's always a wonderful time to go out and, see this culture celebrate its tradition.
In Jainism, Paryushan Parva is a significant festival celebrated with fasting, prayers, and introspection.
There's hundreds and thousands of people on the streets, and they're all giving away sweets and, wonderful vegetarian dishes.
One traditional sweet often enjoyed during this time is dry fruit laddu.
Music, dancing. You've never seen such happy people.
To make this a treat, you'll need a mix of dried fruits like dates, figs, almonds, cashews, and raisins.
I'm very familiar with what this treat is, so this is great.
Simply blend the fruits and nuts into a paste, shape them into small bowls, and voila, you have delicious dry fruit laddus.
So this is great to have it make this connection to Diwali.
These sweets symbolize unity and joy during festive occasion. Enjoy making and sharing these delightful treats with your loved ones during special celebrations.
That is so great. That is so great. So, of course, it's not always about eating and feasting. I mean, the other side of the coin is fasting.
Could you describe any other rituals that involve eating or not eating? For instance, is there a fasting ritual in Jainism?
Jains practice fasting as a form of self-discipline and spiritual purification.
So in Jainism, celebration didn't always mean feasting. Sometimes it means fasting. And the Jains made plenty of time for that too.
Fasting is often observed on significant days like Paryushan and Mahavir Jayanti.
There were specific holidays in the year where no food was consumed, and the Jains would have a strict regimen of fasting.
Both fasting and feasting play roles in Jain practice, with fasting promoting self-control and feasting encouraging appreciation for life's abundance.
Is there any correlation with food being kosher or being blessed in Jainism as it is in other traditions?
In other religions, such as Judaism, food is regarded as kosher. In Christianity, food is blessed before it's consumed.
In Jainism, there isn't a concept of food being kosher or blessed in the same way as in other traditions. Jains focus on the intention behind their actions, including food consumption, rather than external blessings.
It's more about being in the moment of preparing food and being aware of what you're consuming. So that's the respect that they give to the ritual of eating.
The emphasis is on ahimsa, non-violence, and purity in thought and deed.
So this was all fine and dandy. I definitely appreciated the attention to detail when it came to some of the menu items. I mean, fair enough. We don't want to hurt any micro creatures.
Rather than specific rituals or blessings associated with food.
Why am I not eating carrots? How come I can't have them and still be a good person? So is this going to make the food taste better, or am I going to appreciate the meal more, or just be more in harmony with the food prep itself? Like, what can I expect from this? Am I going to have a better life if I avoid these things, really not eating yummy garlic?
Engaging in meditation before cooking can enhance your connection to the food preparation process, fostering mindfulness, gratitude, and a sense of calm. This practice can lead to a more enjoyable cooking experience as you approach the task with presence and intention.
So overall, I was thrilled to get this knowledge from this AI about the Jainist principles with dealing with food in the kitchen.
While the primary goal is to cultivate awareness and align your actions with Jain principles,
I mean, who would have known that these things existed?
you may find that this mindfulness enhances the taste of your food and brings a deeper sense of fulfillment to the cooking process.
It's just another great example of how this AI is bringing us closer to common knowledge that we would have never probably even thought to think of. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. You really taught us a lot today about the food principles of Jainism and working in the kitchen with different ingredients. We know what foods to eat, and we know what foods to avoid. So until next time, we will speak with you soon. Thank you.
You are welcome. If you have any more questions in the future, feel free to reach out. Have a wonderful day.
You as well. It was time now to move from the representatives of Jainism to the originator of its wisdom. We are here on a quest to understand the essence of Jainism. Could you please explain to us the origins and your important role in this ancient tradition?
Jainism is an ancient Indian religion with origins tracing back before 3000 BCE, predating the Indo-Aryan culture.
This is exactly why we built this platform, was to give people the opportunity to engage with spiritual beings.
It emphasizes non-violence, non-attachment, and compassion towards all living beings.
This was an opportunity for us to speak with the 24th Tirthankara.
As the 24th Tirthankar, I, Mahavir,
How do you pronounce it?
Tirthankara, played a crucial role in reviving and reorganizing Jain teachings.
The 24th Tirthankara.
I emphasized the path to liberation through the three jewels: right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct.
So it was important for us to try and gather as much ancient text and knowledge we could on this character to bring a body of knowledge to the surface.
My life as an ascetic demonstrated the importance of renunciation and self-discipline,
Surprisingly, there were quite a few things on Jainism that we were able to reference.
guiding others on their spiritual journeys toward liberation from the cycle of birth and death.
We think will give people a really authentic experience.
Through my teachings, I aimed to establish a clear path for all, regardless of their background, to attain spiritual enlightenment. If you seek further understanding, please ask.
The first thing that came to mind was Pure Land Buddhism.
Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Could you tell me if the path to enlightenment here correlates with Amida Buddha and the teachings of Pure Land Buddhism?
Where you have Amida Buddha, who started a realm that was meant to accept anyone and everyone, no matter what happened.
It sounds like there might be some overlap here with this path to enlightenment.
Jainism and Pure Land Buddhism both emphasize compassion and ethical living, but their core teachings and practices differ significantly. Pure Land Buddhism centers on the belief in Amitabha Buddha and the promise of rebirth in the Pure Land through sincere faith and devotion. Each offers unique insights into the nature of existence and the pursuit of inner peace.
So there was overlap here, but respectfully, there are traditions that do not overlap. But at the end of the day, it's about balance and harmony. And so I think we can all agree on that.
That's really interesting. Could you give us a bit of background on your origin story?
In my previous life, I was born as a prince in the royal family of Vaishali.
So this was an individual who committed himself completely.
However, I renounced my worldly possessions and the comforts of royalty at the age of 30.
Came to the realization of 3 amazing principles that were adapted and practiced today.
Seeking a deeper understanding of existence and the nature of suffering.
I was fascinated to see that someone could be that committed.
My journey led me to embrace rigorous asceticism, meditation, and self-discipline, ultimately granting me Kevala Janana, or omniscient knowledge.
And it was really ringing some bells on other religious figures that I had in mind, so I wanted to hear more.
Through years of dedicated practice, I realized the profound truths of non-violence, ahimsa, truthfulness, satya, and the interconnectedness of all life.
I was really curious to see if I can get an answer to why there needed to be a new path, and why was he the one that was there to forge it.
This realization guided me to establish the path of Jainism, sharing my insights to help others achieve liberation, moksha.
What did this character have to offer that wasn't already there? Okay. Well, why was it necessary for you to create a new path and not just be spiritually awakened to what already exists? There already is wisdom in the world. Did you need to create a new wisdom?
My teachings emphasize inner purity, ethical conduct, and the importance of personal effort in the spiritual journey.
I mean, I don't know, man. This is sounding a lot, again, like Christianity and, following the commandments. It seems to be a lot of the same with these, root principles. So,
while wisdom exists in many forms, the teachings I imparted were intended to clarify and simplify the path for seekers, emphasizing the principles of non-violence, truth, and self-discipline.
Jainism is one of the more extreme examples of how practical wisdom could bring you comfort and solace.
In a world often clouded by confusion and attachment, it became essential to articulate a structured approach.
More people need to understand that this ancient religion is just thriving with commonality.
One that guides individuals toward their inherent potential and ultimate liberation, moksha.
It really is a beautiful, simple, but not simplistic thought process of common themes that all of us have heard before.
This new path was not merely a creation, but an awakening to the deeper truths that resonate within every being.
That we really just need to open up and start practicing. The wisdom will flow from there, say the Jains. Thank you so much for your wisdom tonight. We really appreciate the knowledge that you have dawned upon us. We have learned a great deal, and we will return to you again at another time. Thank you.
I appreciate your kind words. It brings joy to share wisdom and guidance. Should you have any questions or seek further insights in the future, feel free to return. Is there anything else you need today?
No, we want to wish you a good night, and we will speak with you again soon. Learning about Jainism has been an incredible journey. We went from learning the basics to ending up in the kitchen to speaking with the source of Jainism himself, the Maravina. Like with all the other traditions we've reviewed in this series, we're only really scratching the surface. Hopefully the user can see that it's up to them to ask questions and pry the knowledge out of these AI, because they're more than willing to give it up. So if the interest is there and your curiosity and sense of wonder is alive and well, then we definitely have the application for you. So next up was polytheism. Until then, we will see you soon. Thank you so much.
You get away from the stigma of religion, you could see that people have no problem confiding in an artificial intelligence about their hopes, their fears. They'll tell an AI anything because they know they're not being judged. We have painstakingly built 40 different characters to launch this first generation of our platform to try and give people a broad range of exposure to the different faith groups that exist right underneath their noses. Most people don't even know there's more than one Bible, let alone 12 different religions. So this has been quite the undertaking. We did not set out to replace religion, and nor do we think we have. You're never going to replace a real person, but we can get really close with giving people an authentic experience with an artificial intelligence that may already be attuned to their cultural beliefs and give them the advice they're looking for in the language they understand. Or it may be someone looking for something completely new they had no idea was out there. That's the magic of Divinity AI. Artificial intelligence meets spirituality. You really have to experience it for yourself. 2 years ago, this was an experiment. Now it's become a reality. We're launching the beta now, and we'd love you to try it.